Hello, Turkey. I'm Palakisu, and today I'm gonna be talking about folklore. First proper stream in goodness knows how long, and going back to something I've not done for a while. Folklore. So yeah. So particularly Weasels. I love Weasels. I mentioned them earlier, but these Weasels, they're the most precious little things. So bleeding adorable. But also they have a ton of very interesting facts about their biology, stuff like how they do a war dance to distract their prey, or how they have the, I believe, 4th highest bite force quotient for animals of their size, bite force quotient being, of course, bite force per mass of an animal. So, they're very impressive. Weasels in general and mustards, they're all great. I love them to bits. So, they're also very, very widespread. These weasels, I believe they're in America. I know they're in North America. I don't know if they're in South America, but I do know they're in North America. They're all across Europe, and Asia, and everywhere they go, people love them. For the most part. It's not universal love, but when you look at the stories people tell about the weasels, they're generally mischievous, yes, but while there's a few stories about them being, say, dead brides or witches, those happen with lots of animals. The more common stories are ones which depict the weasel as, say, the Kamitachi, I believe. Kamiodachi? The exact name eludes me, but the Japanese myth of the Kamiodachi, where there's 3 weasels and they trip people up, give them cuts, and then heal them, where they're depicted as tricksy, but ultimately harmless. Or you have myths in Europe which depict them as noble and brave, or, well, generally the idea is that they are noble and brave, because, I mean, they're funny weasels, they're tiny, they can fit in the palm of your hand, and despite that, they take in prey far bigger than themselves, and that's just downright, inspiring. So they often get associated with bravery. They're often heroes, and on that note, let's begin with the first story of tonight. This one is a North American tale, specifically an Algonquin story, specifically from the Ojibwe. I can't pronounce. I'm not pronouncing that well. I searched. It's not a word I'm good at pronouncing. Ojibwe. It's from the speakers of Algonquin in that area. So, it's actually a story. And this is going to be true of both of the stories, right? It's a story, they're stories of these weasels being a hero and slaying beasts. So the first story involves another folkloric creature of the area, the Weasels creature. There are many ways to describe this being: a spirit, a human, a beast. It is, of course, the Wendigo. Now, the Wendigo, which I'm sure you've all heard of because it's a very popular creature. Everybody loves the Wendigo. Got people name themselves after it. It's in everything. It's a classic story. But for the purposes of this story, this particular tale of the Wendigo is, of course, the Wendigo, a being who eats human flesh, subjecting themselves to cannibalism and giving in to their urges. This beast, this former human, eats the flesh of their fellow man, and from that they grow larger and more powerful. And this particular Wendigo that this story is about has been doing this for quite some time. Across the country, the Wendigo wanders, and whenever it finds a town, a village, it descends upon them, picking off the people one by one until there is no one left, and all that's there is a ghost town. And so, this Wendigo, carving a bloody path across the landscape, eventually it decides that eating everyone at once, or rather eating everyone in a single night, is fun, but you have to ration out a little bit, and so it kidnaps a man. Or rather, it leaves a man alive, I suppose would be more accurate, from its latest rage. And this man, he begins to travel with the Wendigo, or even fear, wondering when the Wendigo will eat him. And so one day, the Wendigo decides that it is time to partake of the flesh of this poor soul, and so he tells the man to go out and fetch me firewood, for I shall eat you tonight. And the man, well, this sounds like a great way, or a great time to run away, but, well, if he runs, the Wendigo might catch him anyway. Yeah, the Wendigo will catch him anyway. He's got a scent, and with a size and speed, it will take no time to catch up. So, instead, the Wendigo searches for someone who might be able to help. And so, he eventually comes across the protagonist of our story, a weasel, a tiny little thing, barely fits in the palm of his hand. But the weasel sees how distressed he is, runs up and asks him, "How are you doing?" And the man, seeing this creature fearlessly go up to him despite the size difference, tells the weasel, "Oh, weasel, you must help me. A Wendigo has eaten my village, and tonight he plans to eat me. You must help me slay him." And the weasel, hearing this, decides that, you know what, I can and will kill a Wendigo. Watch me, fucker. So, the man tucks the weasel up in his sleeve, out of sight, and returns with firewood to the Wendigo. Seeing the man return, the Wendigo decides that everything is going perfectly to plan. Lets his guard down, and as the man approaches, with only sticks for fire, starts the fire, turns to the Wendigo, and when the Wendigo is attending the fire, the weasel slips out of the man's sleeve and goes right up the Wendigos are like right up there, shove up the butt, wriggles all the way, tearing through flesh and organs, all the way up to its heart, and it bites it and eats it, tearing its way through the body, and the Wendigo simply falls over dead. And then the Weasel, of course, bursts out the Wendigo's chest, covered in blood and viscera, looking right pleased with itself, having slain the great and mighty Wendigo. And everyone lives happily ever after, except the people who were already eaten by the Wendigo because they've long been digested. But you know, the Wendigo's dead now. Hip, 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 hooray. Weasel 1, Wendigo 0. And that is the tale, the Algonquin tale of the Wendigo and the Weasel. So yeah, got lots of great points about it. Obviously, the themes of, as I mentioned earlier, it's the Weasel being brave and taking down foes many times greater than itself. That's a classic Weasel. A classic Weasel trait. You know, that sort of trickery. You know, that's where you get the phrase being a weasel. If you call someone a weasel, it means they're tricky, usually somewhat insultingly, but you know. And of course you have the gung up its arse, but you know, how else is a weasel gonna get to your heart and rip it out? So yeah, I like the tale. There's a nice story about a weasel biting Wendigo's heart from its arse. It was great. I love it. So that's the first story I had prepared for you. Now, for the second story, let's return back to Europe. Now, let's do a little bit of preamble first. So, in Europe, as I mentioned, weasels have two reputations. One, of course, you have with all sorts of animals, particularly predators who eat chickens. That is, which is familiar. You know, it being bad luck to 1 into 1, that sort of stuff. But there is another line of thinking, and that is the weasel being honourable. Now, there's one tale of the weasel. Now, these weasels, if you didn't know, many weasels, if you didn't know, in the winter, it's mighty cold, so cold that it snows, right? So, when it's snowing, the summer brown coat no longer sticks in, so they get a white coat. There's lots of research on how they do it, on whether it's time or temperature or light or what have you. All very interesting. I can't remember any of it right now, but they gain a beautiful white coat. And there's a story of a hunter and there's hunting a least weasel, and eventually they drive it to just a massive muddy forest, incredibly out of the snow, incredibly dirty, and the weasel just turns to them and is like, you know what, I don't want to be dirty, not with this pretty white coat. Just, if you're gonna chase me over there, you might as well just kill me and skin me here, because I am not going there. Of course, the story frames it anymore. Death before dishonour, and it's, you know, that's the sort of vibe you get from those sorts of weasel myths. Yeah, I also have another story where it's said that if you see a weasel, that it is bad luck to not say hello, just politely greet it. If you see a weasel and don't greet it, well, you're being rude, and the weasel might take offense, so it's bad luck. So that's the sort of reputation weasels have in Europe. And the second thing you need to know about weasels and mustaloids in general, not mustelids, but the superfamily, I believe, mustaloids. Now, mustaloids tend to be stinky. Mustaloids, of course, contain, most notably for this particular trait, skunks. And that should tell you what the rest of them smell like. I'm sure a wolverine or a honey badger isn't going to smell as potent as a skunk, but they still have the gear and they still communicate through scent. So, weasels are of course no exception. In fact, I believe that weasel musk was used for perfume for a time, though I am not 100% sure on that. I do believe, though I do believe that, Lorax, that civet cats also have their stink used in perfume. I'm more confident on that. I'm no expert on animal products, I may be getting things mixed around, but point being, weasels do have a potent smell. And so, we come to our second story. Finally, this is one courtesy of Pliny the Elder, I believe. So, the basilisk. A name you have certainly heard before. The great and terrible serpent chicken. A beast scaled and feathered, but while its appearance may be odd, that is not what it is known for. Nay, the basilisk is most known for its terrifying venom. Yes, indeed, every part of this beast is laden with toxins, express what your flesh away from the bone. It scales will turn you to stone. Its very presence will cause plants to wither and die. And that is, of course, how you find a basilisk. And in the ruined vegetation, well, that is a warning to stay away. But all poisons have a cure, all venoms have an antidote. And if you see the basilisk nest, the ruined and withered plants almost looking burnt, just as you and your own should stay away from the things. It might be wise to find a reason and encourage it to go into the den of the basilisk. For you see, weasels themselves are quite poisonous. They are quite venomous, and so the toxic stink of the weasel will grant it an edge in the fight. And so, the weasel, it will venture in to the basilisk, and of course seeing such a chicken, seeing a snake, it will decide that it will kill it right here and now, because they do not they are not fond of snakes, and they are not fond of chickens. No, that is not quite right. I do believe weasels and its kin are fond of snakes and chickens. They are fond of how they taste. So, the humblest weasel, from seeing food, will leap upon it, and its venom and its claws and its courage will bring down the basilisk. But the basilisk, as mentioned, it is no easy prey, and just because one is venomous themselves, it does not mean that they are immune to venom, and so the weasel themselves will inevitably fall in battle. But that is how you deal with basilisks, so says Pliny. And that's the second story I have prepared. Now, as mentioned, weasels, just clarification, weasels aren't actually venomous. They are stinky, but they are not venomous. If they bite you, you might, it's still a wild animal, so you might get a disease, but they don't have glands or anything to kill you like that, and their musk, while stinking you, will just put you off. It's not gonna kill you. But it will kill a basilisk, apparently. So yes, once again, another story of the leaf weasel deciding that, but this one doesn't have as happy an end for the weasel. There are, of course, more stories I could go into, but those are the two main stories I had prepared today. So, yes. As mentioned, weasels are great symbols of bravery, and actually, I do believe that, as mentioned, they had a decent reputation in Europe, and so I do believe that some heraldry, some coats of arms, actually have depict weasels. Yes, the ermine generally let's see, particularly the tail, because of course, if you didn't know, the long-tailed weasel, it has obviously a long white tail that ends in a single black spot, and that is a very evocative image, so it's used in a lot of heraldry, and obviously it's meant to represent bravery, honour, dignity, and all bravery and that sort of stuff. So yeah, so let me see if I can find yes, the flag of Leicestershire. The flag of Brittany has ermine spots. Let's see if I can bring it up. One more. Let me just bring it up. Yeah. One moment. Sorry about this. But this is the flag of Brittany. Now, Brittany is a place in France. Apologies, one moment. Let's see if I can actually get it up. Don't seem to be working. Whatever. Anyway, the flag of Brittany, I can draw it out for you instead. It looks something like this. Apologies for being a quick job, but no, more like it's 8. Yes, there are 11 mine spots, as they're called. Of course, it's like an abstraction of mine spots. You know how Heraldry tends to be a bit more abstracted. And of course, this is just a very quick sketch, but it's something like this. Obviously meant to be a weasel. Yeah, that's a terrible one of a Brittany flag, but it's something like that. Goodness me. Anyway, that's what it's meant to look like, something like that. And there's others, tons of flags which use the aforementioned spots, you know, as I said, Brittany, Leicestershire, Norfolk, Shropshire, you know. So yes. Of course, this in particular is about its fur, because as mentioned, there's a story about mine being very proud of its fur, and the black-tipped tails, and all being iconic, and it being proud of its white fur. So that's very much how it's depicted in heraldry generally. So yeah, and also aside from that, there's tons of stories from all over the world. As mentioned, I'm probably going to say it different. Let me see if I can find a proper, but the Kamiodachi, Kami Itachi, not Odachi, Itachi. I'm thinking of swords, the Kami Itachi, but yes, the Kami Itachi, as mentioned, and there are like three Weasel spirits whom one will trip a person up, that one has a sickle to cut you, and the third has medicine to make sure you don't bleed, and if you fall over and find yourself with cuts that don't bleed but you don't know how they got there, supposedly the Kami Itachi caused them in Japanese folklore, and I believe Kami Itachi are fairly popular actually. In Komodo Friends, there's Kami Itachi friends, 3 of them. I don't really seen them, but one I do know more of is in Monster Hunter, the Izuchi and Great Izuchi. They're based off the Kami Itachi because they generally find one big one big Great Izuchi and 2 small Izuchi, and they attack you and sink, and they're based off the Kami Itachi, even if they aren't particularly Weasel-like. That is who they are based off. And actually, speaking of Japan, I believe there's another yokai who's a weasel, who's like a weasel in like a tube, like supposedly wizards would have like bamboo tubes and then they keep weasels in there. This is just something I've heard. I'm not researched this particular story at all, but I do find that cute. But yes. So yeah, that was just a bunch of Weasel stories. Of course, there are tons more from all over the world, just based on the fact that they're very widespread. Yeah, that's just a bunch of folklore on leaf weasels. I hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble about the funny little guys. But yeah, that's all I had prepared for the stream. Next, I have a translation of our song. That'll be on Monday. After that, I'll be taking another short break for the holidays because it is Christmas. So I'll be with family then. But aside from that, I'll hopefully be getting back into the flow of things. Hopefully. Yeah, there's not much more for me to say. That's all I have, so I'll be seeing you next time. Mitama.